I just want to start off too, before I actually get into the video and everything like that. I am rocking the Funhouse t-shirt, which is a play on the Pornhub logo. And I'm going to be fair in saying that I have no qualms about holding this up. I love the website, I love the Twitter, the people there. I never even go to Pornhub. I don't even give a shit about their site. I just love the Twitter team. They are the funniest people out there, and they're so friendly and nice. Anyway.
How does it feel to be the same sex as Donald Trump?
This, in and of itself, is a clickbait start. It is intended to get you pissed off, because no woman, no man actually thinks something like that. And if you do, I think I would be fair to say 99.9% of the entire population would call you an idiot. No, it doesn't matter who you really are. How does it feel to be related to Hillary Clinton? It's irrelevant. You're pointing somebody else in the name of somebody else.
Why do you hate rom-coms? Or do you just feel like you need to hate them?
Well, I don't think that's fair. I don't think that's fair to say. I don't watch TV. I don't like movies because they're overproduced garbage. They produce the same stories, the same plot lines, the same twists in every movie, to the point where nothing's being done that's new. So rom-coms are generally cheesy and annoying because it just becomes this period of like, oh, isn't this a great sweet moment that's actually never going to happen in real life? I'm not interested in that.
Everybody likes The Notebook. Everybody likes Beyonce. It's just a fact.
And for Beyonce, she's a musician that doesn't appeal to my needs or wants or my preferences. In fact, I would go so far to even call her a little bit sexist, and I'm not even going to go and start a conversation about that, but that's my preference, and I choose not to listen to that, and I don't like her music.
Why do you make women sit around and talk about men in movies?
Okay, the men in movies thing is ridiculous, but I will give it a comparative reasoning behind it. I'll give you a little bit of a comparison, and that is men in sports. I live in Buffalo, where we have Buffalo Bills, and we have the Sabres, and all I hear about all the time is sports, and it's nonstop. It goes on for hours and hours and hours on end, and it drives me insane. But again, that's because we're born in a city which is raised around people who have a passion for sports, people who want to compete, and that's just a men-based sport. Now, we don't have that many women's teams around here, so we have teams that are on television, things that are specifically designed to make people interested. That's kind of the whole point of television, as I said before with the rom-com thing. Everything that's on television is designed to make you watch. So we live in a city which has sports teams which are designed to make people want to watch it.
Y'all easily just sit around and talk about boobs for hours.
Nobody does that. I can say hands down, nobody talks about boobs for hours on end. If you are meeting somebody, doesn't matter if you're a guy or woman, and they are talking about boobs for more than 3 minutes, they might have a problem. I have run into several people. I work in kitchens. I work in kitchens with men, foul-mouthed men who all they talk about are fucking sports. And you would think that's the bottom of the barrel. They go out and they drink and they party and they go get hammered. You would think that's what they talk about, but they don't. I've worked with plenty of people. People will talk about boobs and sex for maybe 5 minutes and continue on with their work. And even then, it's a rarity. It's maybe once a month that I hear about these conversations.
Why do you automatically assume that you won't like TV or movies that star a female lead?
Why?
That's a blanket statement to umpteenth degree. I don't care who leads in the show. I just care that it intrigues me. I care what interests me. If I'm going to get invested in a series, generally I'm going off the basis of what other people tell me. Because, as I said before, I don't even like television. It's overproduced garbage. And on top of that is one of my favorite shows is Firefly. And one of the starring leads is a very strong, independent black woman. She's fucking fantastic in the show. And then there's also the girl who has the mental problems. And these are great actresses. So again, it depends on what my friends tell me. That's what's going to intrigue me, is what are the other people telling me that they like, that maybe I will take an interest in. So it doesn't matter who's leading it.
Are you surprised when women are funny?
I'm probably funnier than you.
Okay, the funnier than you thing, it's a generalization. You can't say that. It doesn't matter. It changes from person to person. I have a friend that I work with, and she makes all these jokes, and she's able to crack jokes with me and make jokes at each other's expense. You know, we have positive exchange that are funny jokes. That being said, though, I don't find that many interesting comedians, women comedians. And the thing that drives me insane is when people say, oh, what do you mean you don't find the female comedians interesting? Well, who's a female comedian that you think is interesting? Who do you think is funny? Oh, I like Amy Schumer. I like, Angelina Johnson, if that's even her name. You know, do you not like them? No, I don't think their jokes are any funny. I like Kathleen Madison. I like freaking Chelsea Handler. I kind of like Eliza Schlesinger, if that's even how you say her name, because they're doing things that are different. But here's the thing is, when you run into people like Eliza Schlesinger, I can't even say her name half the time. She does jokes that are specifically tailored to women, but they can reach out to men. And their jokes are over reused, produced garbage. They're just like, oh my god, let's go clubbing. Why are girls always coming? Like, why do the girls talk like this? And it doesn't intrigue me that a person's form of comedy is to constantly bash their own group of people. And that's what I find a lot of female comedians do. So it's not really that appealing to me.
Why do you think that we're obsessed with you when we hook up?
The hookup thing is kind of a choice-based situation. It depends from person to person. You're making blanket statements. The whole video is blanket statements, so I'll try to refrain from continually saying that unless it's really absurd. But hooking up with somebody kind of shows that you took a level of interest in the person. Doesn't matter if it's physical or mental or anything like that. Me being a person who specifically waited to have a good girlfriend and a good relationship to do any of that stuff, that doesn't really seem like somebody would make a choice to just hook up with me and then go, I wasn't really looking for anything connected. For me, I have to be connected for that to be the case. I'm not going to just find some random person that I found at the bar, go have sex with them. That's just not me. So it depends from person to person. But for guys, again, it's the same thing. You showed a level of interest and the person picked up that you found the level of interest in them. So that's why they're trying to connect with you.
9 times out of 10, I just want you to leave too. I'm busy. I got shit to do.
You know, you might have shit to do, but again, I mean, it depends on the person. You find a guy who's just looking for a one-night stand, chances are he's going to fucking leave you alone. You tell him, it's like, hey, this was a one-time thing, but you have to be adults and discuss things, which seems to be like the reoccurring theme that people in my generation don't understand.
Why can't I sleep with as many people as I want to without being judged? When men do it, they're congratulated.
I'm going to be a bit of an asshole here and honest this in my truest form of opinion. I can go to a bar right now and talk to several women. I can go talk to people and try to connect with them and try to make conversations, and they will flat out tell me, I'm not interested. Okay, well, I was just trying to have a conversation. I'm not interested in you. Okay, bye. If you go to a bar and you find a guy who is obviously there looking for somebody to hook up with, you can literally just say, what you doing tonight? You want to come over to my place? And that's it. For me, it's a long process. I have to talk to this person. I have to come up with quips. I have to think of a way to entertain you, to make you seem like you're attracted to me. That is a difference in the way that you were just raised and the amount of people whom are, like, I guess you could say safe. You know, if you're looking for somebody safe to date versus if you're just trying to go out and hook up, it's really a lot easier for you to just go out there and find somebody who just wants to hook up with you. So, yeah, it's a lot easier for you, and therefore it's automatically unfair. When men do it, they're congratulated. I will say that I am not congratulating people. I actually got into an argument with one of my coworkers, whom is a female, and she was talking about like how she gets more sex than I do, and I'm just like, okay, sure you do. Well, yeah, I probably do. Okay, well, where's your boyfriend? I don't have a boyfriend. So just with a bunch of guys? Kinda, yeah. Okay, that's great. I mean, I'm not really sitting there going, yay, congratulations, you're going out there and finding a ton of people and having random sex with people. It's just not intriguing, but that's my personal preference towards that situation.
Why do you consider a woman a tease if she doesn't sleep with you after 3 dates, but a slut if she sleeps with you on the first date?
The tease and slut thing comes from a lack of communication, and that needs to be understood from every person watching any video, is that when you're an adult and you consistently make gestures and motions and eye contact and signals and try to intrigue people, and you decide that, oh, I'm just doing this to have fun, that's kind of like being an asshole. It's like, yes, you're allowed to. I'm not saying anybody is not allowed to tease. It's all kind of part of having fun in life. I love teasing people in the sense that I imagine if you're in a relationship, you would love to make your partner go a little crazy and have them, be more excitable than normal. So it really comes down to your communication, and this is the biggest thing that people don't do, and it drives me personally insane. Talk with one another. And after one day, if you sleep with somebody, well, then obviously you hit it off. That's not a bad thing. You hit it off, and things went great. And I applaud people for hitting it off.
What world does no mean yes?
No means no.
No mean no. I can't comment on this one. I have met people in my life who have heard this before, and much like me, they laugh it off because it's like, that comes down to your parents. If your parents didn't treat you right, if your peers weren't even remotely respectable human beings, maybe that's the world you live in, but that was not the world I was raised in, so that has never affected me. If somebody told me no, I fucked off.
Why do you say that women are too emotional to be leaders?
Again, parenting. It really just comes down to that. I've never had problems with women leading me. I've worked in several places. My current place that I work at, I have a female supervisor. I've got a coworker that's female, and both of them, I give them 10 times more respect because they do their job.
Then justify catcalling by saying men just can't control themselves.
Men can't control themselves. I hear this all the time. Honestly, that kind of triggers me as a human being. Men can't control themselves. I don't want to call out my girlfriend here, but I'm just going to say it as blatantly as possible. I'm pretty controllable. She's not as controllable.
Why do you think that just because you're nice to me, I owe you my body?
Nobody thinks that. The people who think that are the ones that feel that they're entitled. Again, parenting.
Why would you ever send an unsolicited dick pic?
Dick pics, I can't tell you. I've never had this problem personally. I know people who have sent them, and I personally don't understand the mentality behind it. But from what I've heard from people, it's really just the excitement when if it's unsolicited, again, I don't know. I have no idea what goes through the person's brain. I have never heard of people doing that, but when you're in a relationship with somebody, it's seen as fun.
Why do you feel like it's okay to harass women or make offensive comments about women, but when somebody does it to your sister, it's not okay?
Because that's family. You said it in there. Your sister, your mother, your whatever. That's family. People are very sensitive about their families. And in turn, there is the key word in there, joke. When somebody makes a joke, when somebody makes a remark or a comment, sorry, but that's just a joke. And you need to man the fuck up and take a joke. And if somebody dishes it back, you better believe that's a person that I respect. I have 20 people I work with in that place at my job. I like every single person, but the ones who will comment back at me if I make a joke at their expense, the ones who come back at me, that is my friend.
How does it feel to interrupt me when I'm in the middle of making a point during a meeting?
No, I mean, I've never worked in office-based settings, but the meetings that I do have, interrupting doesn't happen because it's always seen as disrespectful. So that comes down to the individual person. If they're interrupting you, chances are the person is just an asshole. Doesn't matter if it's guy or female, it's just that person's an asshole.
Why do you have to sit with your legs so wide open?
I get that you have balls, but
Why do you have to wear bras? It's the same thing. It's a comfortability issue. It's like, dude, my testicles are uncomfortable. I would like to air out, and my legs just feel more natural. When I sit like this and I have tight position, after about 10 minutes, my legs get jittery. I get shaky. I feel like I need to open up. That's just me because I have that energy that stores up when I'm sitting like this versus it feels like the energy in my body, the blood can move more properly. That's just blood movement.
I don't stand around with my arms wide open to make room for my boobs.
Why not? As long as you're not smacking other people in the face, do it. Who gives a shit?
Why are women perceived as the weaker sex? Even though we literally birth you. Like watermelons through like this.
Why?
I got a good story on this. I've got stories and it drives me insane. I give people a very simple 2 challenges. At work, we have an ice bin, or an ice machine at least to start off, where we have a bin next to it. A big giant brown bin that's probably about my arm's length apart. So about 5.5 feet. And we fill it with about 2 or 3 inches of ice every day so that we can keep food in there and it keeps it cold enough that we can serve it. And every day we have to empty that thing out. Anybody who can't seem to coordinate or dunk the ice bucket into a sink is not strong enough to do the task, and therefore quite literally weaker than me. I can do it with 1 arm. I can do it with 2 arms spread all the way across this 5-foot bin. Anybody who doesn't have the capacity to figure out that maybe if they were to use a tool or an object to help them with the process, already on top of being weaker is showing ignorance. And another little test or whatever that I do is I will get hotel pants. Hotel pants are about maybe yay big, about slight arm's length. And then the ones that I use, I get 6 inches. So and I fill it with liquid of some sort, like a soup or water or gravy, on a Jello, for example. If somebody cannot physically pick that up and walk that into a cooler or something, or put it on a shelf somewhere, again, it's proving that you are in fact weaker. And generally this happens with the women that I work with.
It's so bad to show your emotions.
It means you're human.
This is a city-based issue. A lot of people have these problems. I remember this was actually a real thing. I'm a relatively emotional guy. I was in photography, and I would work with a couple of guys in groups in high school. And my photo that I was trying to make was trying to portray love. And I was told by guys, why are you doing that? I was like, well, this article in the newspaper that I read was actually, or a newspaper or a magazine was actually relatively interesting, and it made me think about how I could portray it in a photo. Yeah, but I'm talking about like football and guns over here. Okay, that's great. You're weird, Kai, you know that? Yeah, I know I'm weird, but I enjoy being weird. It's all about people and their surroundings. I'm weird. I like to have emotions and feelings. And if somebody is afraid of showing their emotions or feelings, generally it's because they're trying to put up some form of, I guess you could say, shield, some sort of protective layer, because anyone you meet has a point of weakness. Doesn't matter what, doesn't matter how. Everybody's got a point of weakness.
Why are you always trying to prove your masculinity to me?
Because that's what attracts females. I mean, how do you not see that? How does a person not portraying that they're able to provide for you and take care of you not attract you?
Why the isn't it ladylike to cuss? When did words get gendered?
Why?
Because cussing is a lack of character, lack of words. I mean, it's the best way that's been said, I think, by Jerry Seinfeld, is that he doesn't like to curse because it shows that it cheapens the joke. I do it all the time because I don't really have the vocabulary or the ability to make quips as fast as most people. And really, I respect anybody who doesn't swear. It's fun to swear, in my opinion, but the thing is that it doesn't matter who it is. It shows a lack of vocabulary. It shows a lack of personality, male or female.
Why is it your first instinct to doubt women who have been sexually violated or raped? Why?
I don't know a single person who does this. I've never met a single person who does this. In fact, I care to say that about 80 to 90% of my female friends have had sexual abuse happen in their history. I'm not going to point out who or anything of that nature. I never once said, no, they're lying.
Why do you assume a woman's angry because she's on her period?
Like, anybody who is afraid of a woman on her period is a bitch of a man or woman. I don't care who it is. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter who it is. If you're afraid of a woman in any state or period or time or anything like that, they are a bitch of a human being.
Why do you think women that wear makeup are false advertising? We can say the same thing about your dick size.
No, you can't. My penis size can only be one penis size. There are so many YouTubers out there who do YouTube makeup channels or beauty channels. There is a guy, might I add, who does makeup tutorials and makes himself turn into essentially a woman. Makeup is a false presence of yourself. Now, I'm not saying that it's bad. You can do whatever you want. Don't listen to me. I don't give a shit. But the point is that wearing makeup, A, it damages your fucking skin, which is already inherently stupid, and B, any shallow guy who goes after you because you look one way probably doesn't give a shit about you. I'm sorry, you're probably attracting the wrong type of person.
Why isn't it weird that there's a bunch of old white men sitting in a room making legislation about what I can and can't do with my body?
Do you have a coochie?
Do I have control over what other people decide? No. It's old people doing that. That's people in politics deciding shit like that. I'd love to be able to walk in and say, yeah, let anybody decide what they want to do with themselves, because, because we don't have input or say on that. We don't get that choice. That's why we elect these people to be in office. I personally say, let people do whatever they want. Let her sell her body. Let her be a prostitute. Let her get that abortion. Let him smoke that crack. Let them smoke that weed. We don't get to make those decisions. These people are elected by us, chosen by the people, and more importantly, it's decided that what's in the best interest for the public is what they generally do. And if the public, meaning everybody, male or female, decides that, well, we generally don't like the idea of abortion, or we don't like the idea of women having choice, guess what? You elected them to the office. We don't get to choose, or we do get to choose, but we don't get to decide what they do while they're in office because we chose to put there. If you really want to have an input, call your local senators, call people, make a difference.
Why are straight guys so obsessed with lesbians?
I'm gonna be against men here. I don't know. This personally drives me insane. I have two people that I work with that are females, and they constantly talk about, oh man, making out and like, oh man, why don't you they offer me like drinks and they just drink out of it. And I'm just like, I'm good. I don't want to drink out of it. Well, why don't you want to drink out of it? Because you're smokers and I don't want to drink out of a smoker drink. And then I get the guys there, they'll be like, I'll drink out of it. Two girls drinking out of it? That's awesome. And I don't understand that personally. I don't know.
How does it feel to get kicked in the balls?
I've only ever been hit in the balls 2 times, and it really feels like a combination of 2 things. It kind of feels like your stomach somebody just smacked you with a ball. Like, you ever see one of those big medicine balls? It feels like somebody just rammed you in the stomach, but at the same time, like, stabbed you with a couple small knives in the same spot. It feels like this big wave of pain from, like, a big ass, like, beach ball, medicine ball, and a couple of knives just hitting your kidneys. It really does hurt a lot, but it has a stabbing pain for me, at least.
Do you ever get tired of trying to be manly all the time?
Again, it depends on the person and how they were raised. Me, I never try to act manly because that's not my personality. I wasn't raised that way.
Why are you so afraid of gender equality?
Why do I deserve to be paid less than you?
In what world does 77 cents equal $1?
In what world does 68 cents equal $1?
How is that fair?
This has been proven false 1 billion fucking times.
Why are you intimidated by a woman who makes more money than you? That's awesome! More money!
Again, it comes down to the parenting, the way somebody's raised and their surroundings, is that when you're not making as much as anyone, male or female, it kind of puts a sense onto you that you can't provide for somebody. If you feel like you're working and you're working your ass off, but you're not making enough money and they're making enough money and they're supporting you, it's kind of the shouldering responsibility that you feel that you need to be able to provide for each other. That's, again, I'm not trying to pick on one side. I'm actually playing the neutral field here. It feels like you need to be able to provide, and men want to be able to provide for people, male or female.
Why are opinionated women seen as bitches?
When opinionated men are seen as bosses.
Anyone who's opinionated and insists on forcing those opinions on you is annoying as fuck. I've met plenty of opinionated people, and they've had really good ideas and some bad ideas, but anybody who tries to force these things on you is an asshole and is so fucking annoying.
Why aren't you speaking up when you hear your male friends behind closed doors make jokes that are offensive to women?
Because it's not my place to make that decision. It's not my place to stop people from joking. As I said before, it's a joke. But I've had plenty of incidents where I've heard people being racist, I've heard them being sexist, I've been hearing them being derogatory, and guess what? It's not my place to sit there and go there. And I do call them out occasionally. I'm not trying to say I do or don't, but I'm trying to say is that it's not my place to sit there and go, you must stop having opinions and fun. I am here to decide that because you are making a joke at somebody else's expense, you must stop that.
Why are you so afraid of recognizing your own privilege?
I actually watched a TED Talk about this, which I actually have my opinion very much swayed about this. It is because privilege cannot be seen by those who have it. Male or female, white or black, Asian, Hispanic, any race, any gender, any trans, anything in between. You cannot see what you have inherently. And it is actually a really interesting TED Talk. I encourage you to go look it up if you can. It's something about gender equality and understanding privileges or something like that. I don't know exactly. I'm sorry. It is that because you were raised in a way in the system that you have that determines how you're going to be or how you're going to act. Privilege is a very subjective, blind statement for anything, and privilege, in my opinion, is a thing that should not be said. It is a subject to your environment. So saying that anyone has privilege is a complete load of baloney.
Doesn't mean you're a bad person. Just recognize it and do something about it.
Recognize and do something about it is hands down the most offensive statement that you can make. You look at you. You're just walking around here being a human. You're so fucking privileged. You're allowed to pay your taxes and work a job and live a normal life. You're so fucking privileged. Why don't you sacrifice on your life to make somebody else's better because you're privileged? What? It is somebody's inherent choice to help somebody out or not help somebody out. You saying that somebody else has a privilege and having to sacrifice on themselves or improve in quote unquote what you have to do, I'm not going to sit there and tell the person that's disabled, you need to check your privilege because this guy over here has no legs. You're so fucking privileged. You get to use your chair and, cart around all over here. Oh, look at you walking down the streets. Oh, look, you're so privileged because you have feet. Why aren't you helping this guy out? You're not entitled to jack shit. You're not entitled to go stop doing what you're doing. You're not forced to do what you do. You have the ability of choice. I appreciate any comments that you guys might have. I hope I came off as reasonable in this argument. I get a little mixed up in this stuff because sometimes I sit there and say, women are, impressive. I meet many people and some of the best people that I work with are women. And then other times I see men and I'm just like, God damn, I can't stand this person. A lot of these feminists / BuzzFeed / I don't know, these women who feel like they're above other people, they drive me insane because it's not the fact that, they might be above somebody. To sit there and say these comments and make it seem like people are the enemy, you always need to understand that these are things that are products of people's environments and the way they were raised. You ever want to point the finger at the parents and point the finger at the system that they grew up in. Those are the only two systems that can really determine how a person's turned out this way. And if you or anybody else feels like you're dating somebody and this is happening to you, fucking leave, man. If anybody's trying to control you, male or female, get the fuck out of there. Because as adults, we have this amazing thing. It's a great feature. Everybody has it. It's called communication and rationale. Use it.